All right, so here I am with Cecil Shorts, the man, the myth, the legend, big time ball player. So Cecil, tell me a little bit about yourself, man. Give me a little background on you.
Background, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the oldest of six kids. I guess that explains why I got seven myself. So I grew up there. My dad and mom kind of raised me where I was year round. I was playing a different sport. So depending on the season of the year, that's, baseball, basketball, football, track. If I wasn't in the sport, I was in church or doing schoolwork. That was their mindset of keeping me out of trouble. Just by keeping me and my siblings busy. Grew up in the inner city of Cleveland, Ohio. Went to high school in Cleveland where my dad was my head coach. So me and my dad had our really good times and we had some battles. I was sensitive to him coaching me, just simply because I felt like he was picking on me and I couldn't see the vision that he had for me or understood what his plan was for me, if that makes sense. So I didn't really get good at taking criticism, or put it this way, I didn't get good at taking constructive criticism till like my junior year. I stopped taking it personal and I just took it as is. He's trying to help me correct. And we had different conversations, different stuff. So when my junior year came, that's when things started getting a lot better for me as far as recruiting and playing well and the whole nine. I was in high school, I played 4 sports. I played basketball, football, baseball, and track. I did that for 2 years. And then my junior year, I decided just to focus on football and track.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, long story short, ended up going to college at a Division III school called University of Mount Union. I was, at one point in time, I thought I was getting recruited pretty good by some mid-major Division I's, by some Division II's, and that fell off to the wayside for whatever the reason. And ended up going to one of the best Division III schools in the country, University of Mount Union. If you don't know anything about Mount Union, it's kind of like the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Ohio States of Division III. So I was very fortunate to be there. Spent 5 years there, and I was behind a guy. So I went there as a quarterback, played quarterback my entire life. I went there as a quarterback. My freshman year, I ended up hurting my leg. So at Mount Union, there's a JV team and a varsity team. So JV, you might have, first of all, it's like 3 or 4 JV teams, purple, white, black, and then sometimes they have a 4th one. But there's about 125 freshmen that come to school with you, 130 freshmen. So you got to like really prove yourself to move up the ladder. You know what I mean? So my freshman year, I was doing decent, but I got hurt. And at Division III, there's no red shirt, right? It's only medical red shirt. So they quickly gave me a medical red shirt. And the coaches at the time, the offensive coordinator at Mount Union was Matt Campbell, who's the head coach at University of Iowa State University right now, or University of Iowa State. And then the quarterback coach or the receivers coach was Jason Candle, who's the head coach at Toledo right now. There's also a few other guys. I want to say Nick Sirianni, who's head coach of the Eagles. He recently left, and he was at another college. So there's tons of guys at Mount Union that go places as far as coaching. They're everywhere in the coaching ranks. So freshman year got hurt. What happened was my spring, I ended up being an All-American in track, and they were like, "Hey, we have a quarterback here as a sophomore that's going to be our starter for the next 3 years. How about you switch positions to receiver?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to." Like I'm thinking I'm Michael Vick. I'm thinking I'm 2004 Michael Vick on the cover. I'm like, I'm Michael Vick. They're like, "No, we want you to play receiver. You can play quarterback, but you'll sit for 3-4 years until he graduates," because he was awesome. There was no reason for anything else. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't want to, but I did end up switching positions and going into my redshirt freshman year. I was number 5 or 6 on the depth chart behind 5. So I was like 6 behind 5 seniors. So I was literally just waiting my turn, learning from those guys. And one of those guys happened to be Pierre Garcon. So Pierre Garcon played in the league, I want to say a decade or so.
Yeah, with the Colts.
Yep, played with the Colts, went to Washington, played the 49ers, just with a straight beast. So I was behind him. He was a senior. I was a soft redshirt freshman. He was a beast. I got to watch him. I got to learn from him. Plus, I knew nothing about receiver at the time. I knew where to be, but how to get there, I didn't know. You know what I mean? It's different having to get off the line of scrimmage and running a route. I knew where I needed to end up, but how to get there in a productive manner, I didn't know. I had to learn. But anyways, long story short, he ended up graduating. It's my turn to step up and take over. I ended up being a 3-year starter, tons of yards, tons of touchdowns, and I got a chance in the NFL because of Pierre. So Pierre, rookie year, he did okay, but his second year he took off. He was playing with Peyton Manning, and they ended up making the Super Bowl his second or third year. Yep. So, and you know, the NFL is a copycat league. So they're like, hey, who is this guy? Where is he from? He's doing well. Let's look back at his school, see if anybody else is there. And I happen to be doing really well. So I'm grateful for him. Just because I don't know if I would have got a serious look if it wasn't for him. He ended up getting 6th round. Long story short, I ended up getting drafted 4th round, a little bit higher than him from a Division III school. That's a big deal. Played 4 years in Jacksonville, where I met you, 4 years in Jayville. Played a couple years with Texans before I got let go, and then I finished up in Tampa Bay. Actually, back with Dirk Cutter. Finished up with Tampa Bay. He brought me in, and I ended up having a knee injury where I tore everything in my knee. December 4th, 2016, I'll never forget. That was my first start with Tampa Bay. And I kind of been battling all year trying to pick up the playbook because I got cut from Houston late. I thought I made the team. And I was actually at my best friend's wedding. I was the best man at my best friend's wedding. And they called me while I'm at the wedding and say, hey, we decided to let you go. I'm like, wait a second. I thought I made the team. But, you know, that's business, how it goes. So they brought me in for a tryout. I left the wedding, went straight to Tampa for a tryout, and I never left. So I'm just there, whatever, get a little cheap apartment. And I'm trying to learn the playbook, pick everything up week 1. As time goes on, I'm starting to pick it up. And then I get my first start in December. And this is like Jameis Winston's 2nd year in the league, or 3rd year in the league. I think it's 2nd year. And we finally start getting some chemistry. So it's 3rd and 15. It's man coverage. It's the safety in the middle of the field. And I took a jab outside and I feed him. I run my 15-yard in route. I catch the ball, but as soon as I catch it, a safety comes and takes my knee out. And I get hit and I feel like I hit my funny bone in your elbow. So I didn't feel anything crazy, right? I'm just like, whatever. So I try to get up. I'm like, oh, I can't get up. So I try to move my upper body up to, hey, come get me. I need a little bit of help. But it wasn't no pain. They flip me over. They start maneuvering my knee. I'm like, hey, stop that. It hurts. They're like, well, we're trying to pop your knee back in place. You dislocated it. I'm like, oh, okay. Whatever. Last year, I dislocated my shoulder. I was back in a week. You know how we are. We just fight through stuff we probably shouldn't fight through.
Right. No doubt.
But at that point in time, I didn't know when you go through a dislocated knee, you most likely tore everything in your knee. And they didn't tell me this. So long story short, 7 surgeries later, I got cleared December of 2020 to be back in, I guess, physical activity. But nobody can make you like God make you. You got the best surgeons in the world. Can't nobody fix you like God can make you. Like It's just, it just ain't right. So it was.
You just got cleared this past December. Is that? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I got hit December 4th, 2016. They had put me in emergency surgery. I was a couple of centimeters away from getting my leg amputated. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know this until about a couple of years ago. My wife told me because they didn't want to tell me at the time because they know how I was going to respond or react. So yeah, emergency surgery. I was stuck in California for about 3 weeks. I lived with my agent for 3 weeks in California and then flew home for Christmas and 5-6 years after that. So yeah, I guess that's my little story in a nutshell. Now I coach high school ball in Houston.
Man, God bless you, dude. Tell me something that you wish that you would have known going through the recruiting process. What's something that you wish you have known that you know now that you could go back and tell yourself when you were 15, 16 years old? And I know it's a lot. That's what you seems like, man. It's a lot.
Yeah. In the recruiting process, I think early on I made the mistake. I think I see a lot of kids do this now. Like, it's D1 or nothing, right? It's big time or nothing. I deserve to be there. I deserve to, and some kids do, right? There's nothing wrong with dreaming like that. But at the same time, if you get an opportunity to play football anywhere, if somebody's recruiting you anywhere, take that opportunity. Because in my mind, early on, it was like, man, I need to be D1. That's where I need to go. And I hear some kids like, I watch good players say, I'm not playing football next year. I don't get no D1 scholarships. So I don't want to play D1 AA or D2 or D3. No, that's not. I'm like, when you're done, right? Like when you're done playing, there's no more playing. Like that's it. You can go to rec ball. You can do whatever. That's not the same as playing collegiate football. And I forgot the exact numbers, but it's tons of kids that play high school, and it dwindles down when it gets to college. It's like only a select few in all divisions play college ball. So I think for me, I wouldn't look down on anybody. I'll just be a lot more grateful that I'm even being recruited by Division 3 or Division 2 or whatever it is. Whoever's recruiting, I would be more grateful, just because I understand now, looking back, how quickly it can be gone after my knee surgeries. How quickly it can be taken away from you. How the game has no heart, it has no beat. It doesn't love you back. The game always going to be here. That's one thing I learned in the pros. There's another number 84 coming after you once you're gone. You know what I mean? Like,
no doubt.
So in that recruiting process, enjoy everything. Enjoy getting recruited. Be open to it all. Don't think you're too big for anything. So that's probably the biggest thing I would go back and change or appreciate.
Yeah, sure. Man, that's awesome. That's great stuff. I think you kind of touched on it there, but any other thoughts or any other advice that you would give today's recruit? Anything else?
Oh, today's recruit. Yes. Humble yourself before you go to school. Humble yourself before you go to school. I mean, because no matter at what level, you were good. And anybody was good in high school, right? You were all conference, you were all state, honorable mention, you were, all world, whatever, all American. But when you get to that school, that don't matter.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. You're a college coach. Once you get there, that don't matter. It's about what you do when you get there. And I think so many kids now, and I think the transfer portal is good and bad, right? I think it's good and bad. But so many kids think they're like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Entitled.
Entitled. They come in entitled. I need to be the starter as a freshman. Because what? I need to be this because no. Oh, in high school I was this, and
I know.
And it doesn't matter. So for me, it's like humble yourself, buy into the program, buy into what your position coach is telling you, buy into the office coordinator, buy into the vision of the head coach. Make sure you're going to school, make sure you're doing your class, make sure you're doing everything you can, and then be patient and wait your turn. I'm not saying you don't want to start as a freshman. I'm not saying you don't want to be great at what you do, right? But buy into the program and your time will come, I believe. I truly do. And if it doesn't come, then, okay, after 2 or 3 years, whatever case may be, I don't know if you feel like you want to do whatever, transfer, but whatever. But you got to get all in. Give yourself a fair chance. Buy into what your position coach, your coordinator, and your head coach's vision. Don't come in saying, I need to be doing this. Oh, I'm an outside receiver. I don't need to play slot. Or I don't know why they got me at right tackle. I'm a left tackle. Like, what? Like, no. Or I don't know why they got me on the bench. I'm better than him, but he does his job better than you right now. His technique is better than you. He is just watch and learn. So learn from the older guys. Humble yourself.
That's right.
I just see too many guys fall into the trap of thinking they are entitled and thinking they should be given stuff, and you got to earn it. I'll never forget. I didn't play college, but I didn't start until my 3rd year in college. So I redshirted my freshman year. I sat the bench my redshirt freshman year, and as a redshirt sophomore, I ended up getting my first start. 3 years it took for me to get my first start, and everything else worked out after that. But it took a lot of effort and and crying and frustration. And, I mean, but it's a process you go through, right? And it makes you appreciate it more when you get there. And then now you're able to hold on and teach the people up under you, like, hey, just hang on, just be there. Like, you know what I mean? Just keep fighting. You can do this. So it makes you appreciate it more when you actually work through it. It's not going to be instant gratification. Not going to be instant success. For very few, it will be. Some people are special like that, but humble yourself.
Yeah. No, that'll preach, man. For the 90% of everybody else, man, we got to go earn it, you know. Maybe Deion Sanders, Julius Peppers, Adrian Peterson, Julio Jones, the freaks of the world that'll get it. But for the other 95%, man, we got to go earn it.
Facts.
So, Cecil, I appreciate it, man. And thank you so much for your time. I'm about to stop recording.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
So the title of my book is called The Recruit's Playbook. And this book is for aspiring high school student athletes that want to play Division I football or college football at the next level. And it's also for their parents too. Well, I tell you, there are a lot of issues that I've noticed in coaching and when I went through the process too, that this book addresses. What is a core GPA? What is the sliding scale? What is the recruiting calendar? What camp should I attend? When do I need to commit? So I'm basically giving the tools to the parents and the recruits.